We have a piece of criticism for you, and we want to know what you think. Give it to me. Okay. Right. Do you think that you listen to your own advice? You say you're not a car person, but you consistently want to like buy a Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, you've reached out to Graham and I several times about like, I think I want to buy a Tesla. But every single time we visit you, you're like, this car is perfectly fine. Was it a Jeep or something?
Yeah. Jeep Cherokee.
Perfectly fine Jeep Cherokee. Love the car. Never want to upgrade. I'm not a car person. And then over and over and over, you're like, yeah, but that new Tesla is pretty awesome. You bought a house impulsively, right?
Not impulsively, but
it was an emotional spend.
Kind of. I was looking for about 3 to 4 months. But once I found the place, I went and visited about 6 times and I pulled the trigger. So I think we framed it a little rough last time.
Sure, but at the time of purchase, did you really think that that was the smartest financial decision for yourself?
Smartest?
Or a smart?
I don't think it was bad, but it wasn't like the smartest thing. The smartest thing would always be throwing money in the market.
It wasn't bad only because of how well you do. It wasn't bad in proportion to that. I think you would have gotten a cheaper home had you waited, and I think you would have been able to rent a better house for less. I don't think it was bad. I mean, it's like, you know, because you're doing so well in proportion, it absorbs a lot of the mistakes. Like you make a lot of fuck ups and it doesn't matter.
Sure.
So,
well, in terms of following my own advice, no, I don't, because I advise 50, 30, 20, but I invest instead of 50, about 80%.
Dave Ramsey said something where those percentages become skewed after a certain amount, and he no longer recommends that because someone making, let's say, $1 million a year and they're spending 30% on wants. I mean, $300,000 a year on wants. Yeah.
Which I would never.
So it skews beyond like $400K a year.
Which I would never do. So technically, I don't follow my advice. I would invest 30%. I would go spend 30%, which I wouldn't even know what to do with. So technically, no. I'm investing the vast majority. But if I went and bought a Tesla, it would be such a small fraction of my overall spending because I don't go spend money on fun. Really, like ever. I'm working. We'll go out to eat or see a movie with the friends like once or twice a week. It wouldn't be the end of the world.
How do you think you can improve your finances?
Okay, so let me ask you. What does improve look like? Because technically, I could have half the employees just do this show and invest more money.
Sure. Let's just say your overall relationship with money.
Probably the, I'm going to sound like a guest on my show. Get ready. The mental health aspect of thinking that I'm just going to die in poverty at all times. I think I'm just going to retire with nothing.
You still feel that way?
Yeah. Yeah. And every time I expand the business slightly, I'm like, oh, this is preventing me from retiring.
I wonder if there's always going to be something, because I feel the same way. And there's always been something that has prevented me from feeling secure.
It's because we know the statistics that YouTubers, on average, 3 years, like you said, 5 years you said is good. Not everyone gets to be like the YouTubers who have retired recently, 10 years.
Yeah.
So good for them, by the way.
Yeah.
Graham, do you think I'm going to die in poverty?
No.
But you have a significant amount more money than I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably better access to higher paying jobs than I have.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you think I'm not going to die in poverty.
No.
And you think you will.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Not on camera, but you probably know.
Ooh, well, now I want to hear.
Can you explain it, Caleb? Do you think I'm going to die in poverty?
Oh, I don't think you're going to die in poverty.
Right, but you have more money than I have. By a significant amount.
Do I?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then also you have
more money than this guy.
Well, you've just been doing it for so long.
You have access to higher paying jobs, probably.
Why do YouTube channel end, though? Do they end in like a stupid scandal that are just nothing? With that, I wonder if it's easier for that person to then go make money. I don't think, I hate this is going to sound so fucking cunty. You are not known enough where it would impact your job career outside.
That's what I told Jack earlier today. We literally had this exact
So that's what you didn't want to say?
conversation.
Because it sounds bad to say.
I wanted to, no. I wanted to extrapolate on that even further.
Yeah.
But
it sounds bad to say. You sound like
I think
the
it's a
most
fair point.
dickest.
Let's cut to the chase
Okay,
right here.
yeah.
I think that's a fair point. But at the same time, like, I don't think that your level of like being famous is working against you in that case.
No, but when YouTube channels end, like, I make one stupid tweet. Let's say I don't drink, but let's just say I get randomly drunk. You guys coax me into getting just wild tonight on 6th Street, and I make the dumbest tweet that's ever existed in the world, just for some reason. And it's just like, oh, Scandal Planet, YouTube drama, woo, drama alert, Philip DeFranco show, let's go. YouTube career ends, and it's just like, they search for me, and it's just like, oh, Caleb made this terrible tweet. We can't hire him. Rip me.
But you still don't think that the skills that you've acquired along the way, you can still work behind the scenes?
Life insurance is one of those things that makes sense for a lot of people out there, but most people just put it off because it feels complicated, expensive, or time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be thanks to our sponsor, Fabric.
Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance that you can get done today. It's made for busy parents like you. It's all online. It's on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required.
If you have kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in a low rate is now. And even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer you enough protection for your family, and it usually does not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric offers flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, including options like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day.
Fabric is partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by millions of families for over 50 years. There's no risk, and they even have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can cancel at any time. Fabric also has free digital wills, tools to invest in your kid's future, and more, all right from your phone.
Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/ICHclips.
Again, that's meetfabric.com/ICHclips. MEET fabric.com/ICHclips. The link is also down below in the description. Enjoy.
Me.
But you still don't think that the skills that you've acquired along the way, you can still work behind the scenes?
No, probably
on
could.
someone
Could do
else's?
like an agency.
Yeah,
or
here's the
something,
thing.
but-
You could always work. You could always work. But I think that future income is never guaranteed. But you always have what it takes to be able to work, as long as you're physically able to.
Yeah. I suppose what gives me a lot of confidence is like, sure, I don't have anywhere near enough money right now to retire, but I do know if everything were to crash and burn right now, that I do have marketable skills that I'd be able to bring into any other position and be able to provide value and make money.
Yeah, I just think you could get hired easier. Because I just think when YouTube channels end, either they're peter off for a decade or they just get YouTube drama canceled because everyone's looking for drama.
I don't think that all of your influence evaporates, though. I don't think that you get like, let's just say 85, 90% of your audience turns on you. You still have 10% of 90,000
But see, here's the thing.
people.
But then
that
you see
can-
people like Boogie. I hate to use him as an example, but like he's someone who had millions of subscribers. Now his might be an extreme.
But he can
but,
turn
like,
it around. There are certain things that are
He can't
inhibiting
get,
him
he
from
can't
turning
get
it
back
around.
to where he was. I mean, that was
No.
But there are certain things that he is suffering from that are preventing him from getting
Yes.
where he needs to be that you aren't necessarily. And those I feel like are the really only things that you can bar from this.
That's a good point. That's fair.
Maybe it's kind of when you look in the mirror and you think you look uglier than you actually do. Like, I can see you being successful, but I have a hard time seeing me be successful after you do. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
some projection of some kind.
What's been the thing for me that I've noticed, like when I went from the duplex and I bought the first like real house in LA, I remember thinking I'm locked into working just as hard, if not harder, on YouTube for another year to be able to make enough to be able to sustain these payments if everything were to go to zero. And so my motivation for that year was, here's my payment, this is all new, earn enough, and then do backwards math and be like, okay, now I'm financially secure with this.
Mm-hmm.
Then I ended up moving to Vegas, and then I thought, okay, now I need to work another, let's say, 8 months to make sure that this is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it could be another thing. And then, usually there are incremental life changes that happen. And then I'm thinking also like, okay, now if I'm okay here, I'm okay on the current lifestyle. But what happens in the event of, you need medical assistance?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put a padding on that. What if kids? Okay, let's put a padding on that. What if a kid, for whatever reason, God forbid, has a disability, and that's expensive, and you need to plan for that. Okay, well, let's pad that. It's always like a little more just to like pad it for these things. So that, from my perspective, it's always like, okay, let's work a little more just to make sure that situation is taken care of.
That's what this last year was
Yeah.
for me before expanding the business into more ventures that I wanted to do. Is I have now built my rental portfolio to, after property management fees, after property taxes, after insurance, after any mortgage on the couple that I have, and after 3% for future vacancies and 3% for future repairs, generates $11,000 a month in cash flow. So that was my big goal for the end of the year, and I ended up hitting that. So I mean, that more than covers my mortgage, and I don't really have many expenses left on top of that. But obviously, you wouldn't want your mortgage to be 50% or more of your income. But either way, that was my big goal, because if for some reason things dry up, I could live a good upper middle class, upper middle class life for that indefinitely.
That's really fascinating, the way that you guys are explaining it, because it's like a completely different ballpark than the ballpark I'm in, obviously, if we're just considering finances involved. But like, oddly enough, I feel rich, even though I am still very far from it. Like, I feel very comfortable. Growing up, I definitely, like, I would skimp out. I wouldn't get the avocado on Chipotle. In fact, I wouldn't even like go out to eat ever. I would be like, I play what we called the waiting game. You'd go, you'd show up, everyone else would order food, and if they didn't finish it, you just eat their food. And we call it the waiting game.
That's what I did the other night. When we were all out at tacos, I was telling you about this place that we went to, and I checked the table to see who's not finished with the food, and I'm never going to say, are you done with that? Because then people feel guilty. I was like, they look at the food and like, all right, I'll just give it to you. I like it when they're about to take it away, and they say, oh, no, wait, can I have it? And then they give it to me. Because then I know 100% they're going to be done.
Is when they're taking it, you know?
Then I know they're going to be done with it, because I don't want the guilt food. I don't want them to give me food.
Maybe I have no shame, but I always ask if they're done with that.
No, so I saw a buddy, Daniel. He's Vegas Low Roller on YouTube, and he had one lobster enchilada and some street corn that was just sitting there uneaten. And he was the only one with food on the entire table. I didn't want to ask if he's done with the food. I waited 10 minutes. They took the food, and then to the server, I'm like, wait a second, could you put that right here and I'll finish it? And I did. It was delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Like, that makes sense, right? You're being financially somewhat responsible.
But it's also, you don't want to be wasteful.
Of course. No, I think, and that's something I really respect about you. You're very resourceful.
I don't want to be wasteful. That's a smart thing to do, Jack.
But the thing I don't understand, is like, the only real thing that I need to survive is my mortgage payment, which is like $2,300. And I have all of my rooms rented out, and I'm basically cash flow flat, like not positive, not negative on my living expenses. And I know for a fact I can just get a job if I really needed to, as a busser at a Starbucks, something like that. And I could still work 20, 30 hours a week and pay for health insurance, my car's paid off, et cetera, et cetera. And that right there is like, I'm comfortable, right? It would be hard to raise a family for sure, but I still think that like, that's like worst case scenario. And I like that in and of itself, like knowing that that is the baseline gives me so much confidence. And like, I feel very secure. And also just like the small little practices of getting avocado, which sounds so simple, like getting avocado on like a sandwich or whatever, or not caring when you're going out to like eat, even if it's like a $10 burrito, whatever, and just happily paying for it. Like that, like those little practices make me feel like I'm totally fine and well off. I still can't quite understand the difference, but I know it's a very common thing.
Well, I mean, I can't fully answer the why. That's why I said at the beginning, it's probably a mental health thing. Like there's probably some underlying anxiety surrounding it, but I can't pinpoint a why. Why do I think it's going to crash and burn? Why do I think I'm going to die on the Walmart floor? I don't know. I don't have an answer.